Okay, so I'm just deep in thought and I want to talk about dissociative identity disorder and the mind-body connection. Now, if there was one thing that I would go back to uni for and finish my psychology degree, it would be to specialize in working with people with dissociative identity disorder. There is literally no research on it, and I think it's the most fascinating thing in the world. It is so interesting. So if you don't know what dissociative identity disorder is, it's basically where, in the movies when you see like split personality, it's actually called dissociative identity disorder, and it's not like the movies. It's basically where you go through something super traumatic that your mind cannot cope. So different alters will come in to protect you from those things. And you can have up to like 100 plus alters. They can be different ages, names. So jumping back to the mind-body connection, coming from someone that has healed autoimmune disease, blood clotting, scoliosis, and my acne through epigenetics, which is the changing and altering of gene expressions, not the gene itself. And this is actually proven through dissociative identity disorder. Now, before I had my spiritual awakening and trying to heal myself, I worked in a psychology clinic, and I would constantly be interacting with patients with dissociative identity disorder. So that's where it kind of came to my awareness. Then I had my spiritual awakening and I mixed them together, and this created where I'm at now. Okay, so I want to explain how this all works with the mind-body connection. So say we've got someone with dissociative identity disorder. This is them, okay? They go through something really traumatic that their mind can't cope, so they get 4 more alters pop up. And this is like you're driving a seat. They're going to be in the driving seat, these are in the back seat, and they can swap in and out. You can lose consciousness, you can go for days. Depending on your relationship with your alters, you can't communicate directly. So alter 1 has diabetes. Alter 4 has none of these have diabetes, right? So this one goes and gets a blood test, and the biochemistry says, yes, you've got diabetes, you need to take this, otherwise you'll die. These 4 don't have diabetes. And when they're in the front driver's seat of the body, they test through their blood that they don't have diabetes. Now, this is the same body. This is different alters. So it's the same physical body. It's the different personalities that activate different gene expressions. So we've got the solid gene expressions that they are genetically born with. And we can manipulate and push buttons on that gene expression line where our personality, our thoughts, our beliefs can change and alter that. So that's what explaining these different alters having different blood chemistry, because they've got different personalities, they've got different thoughts, they've got different mind-body connection going on. So the mind is then communicating to the body that it is control. It's not the body communicating to the mind that the body's in control. The mind is so powerful, and that literally proves it through dissociative identity disorder. And once I learned that, I truly mastered my mind to heal myself. So speaking from my own experience, my body was showing, obviously I was in the hospital, plugged into all these machines that no one could give me any explanation. And my initial thought was, oh my God, my body's shutting down, I'm gonna die. That's what I was thinking. So now the body took over the mind, until I pulled myself out of that state and I realized the mind has to be greater than the body. So I took a step back and I realized that I am in control. Like, my mind controls my body. And that's when I reversed the effects. And it took a lot of time, especially with everything that was going on in my body, but we got there. And I just want to put that out there in case anyone is going through similar things. So that's just a brief little explanation of it. And I absolutely think it's so fascinating how powerful we are and the mind-body connection. And yeah, if there was anything that I'd go back to uni for, it would be to learn more about this, to do EEG tests on dissociative identity disorder, to monitor the brain waves and the consciousness and see where this actually comes from and how we can work with it and improve the quality of life for people that have it, because once you have it, it's irreversible. And, depending on what alters you get and where they come from, you can have alters, you're like 30 years old and you can have an alter that's 5 years old. You can have like a cat as an alter. so many different things from so many different places, and they never age. So if you've got a 5-year-old, you're stuck with a 5-year-old for life. But yeah, don't forget how powerful you are.